Nembutsu. Good news, guys. I found out how to edit my videos without deleting the whole thing. You'd think I'd know that by now, but I finally figured out how to cut out the stuff I don't want and keep the stuff I do like. So I won't be deleting any more videos unless they're really, really bad. I'll just be editing them. And it was kind of ironic and laughable that I didn't know how to do that before, but hey, live and learn. Um, yeah, the title of this is Amitabha's Power is Amazing. And other power Buddhism is a different take on Buddhism. Other power Buddhism, and that's what Pure Land Buddhism is. Not all Pure Land Buddhists, but Jodo Shinshu Buddhism in particular is a form of other power Buddhism. And what that means is, excuse me, we entrust in the other power of Amitabha Buddha. I'm getting me some water here. Yeah, it turned really cold here in Houston, so I'm dealing with that. The other power of Amitabha Buddha is the power that Jodo Shinshu Buddhists are supposed to entrust in. Unfortunately, there are a lot of Jodo Shinshu Buddhists that entrust in their own self-power merits. I found out a long time ago that my own attempts at self-power don't work. I found out that usually when I try to fix things in my life, I end up screwing them up more. Not all things, but generally speaking, when, especially in the spiritual realm, I remember one situation where I tried to develop my psychic abilities. And it didn't go too well. Because I am not an enlightened being, therefore I don't know how to manipulate the supernatural. And this usually applies to my own mundane everyday life as well. I don't know how to manipulate the supernatural. I don't know how to change my karma or create good merits. Now I do understand the law of karma, and I do understand by just striving to be a decent human being and a good Buddhist and a good person in general, and trying to be honest and truthful and decent, you do produce good karma. And this will bring you good karma. But in terms of the major problems in life, you know, all the little tricks that I had learned in New Age philosophies, they always ended up going stale or ending up flat. I'm not an avatar. I'm not a Buddha yet in this life. In my next life, I will be a Buddha, most definitely. And it's not because of my power or my goodness or my ability or my good karma. It's because of the goodness, merit, and ability and good karma and enlightened nature of Amitabha Buddha that I will be a Buddha in my next life. And what I do in this life is I entrust everything in my life, my thoughts, my desires, my emotions, my life situations, the good times, the bad times, the questionable gray area in between times, to Amitabha Buddha. And then I just attempt to live my life as a normal human being here in this Saha realm. Because Amitabha Buddha is the best savior and guide I have ever encountered during my long spiritual journey, which has come to an end once I received the one thought moment of shinjin. Once I received the one thought moment of shinjin, that was a game changer. I knew game over, journey ended. There was no need to search after that. I had one guy ask me, what are you seeking as a Buddhist? I said, I'm not seeking anything. Once I entrusted myself and my karmic destiny to Amitabha Buddha and said his name in gratitude and wished to be reborn in his pure land, I knew that I had found what I was looking for. And then the guy went on and said, do you know where you're going to go when you die? And it's like, yes, I do. But the guy asking me this was not a Buddhist. It sounded to me like he was trying to witness to me. And I'm not going to cast pearls before swine. I'm not going to talk about spiritual matters with people who are not interested in truly finding what I found. I will share with all people my love for Amitabha Buddha. I will share with all people the fact that the Dharma has saved me. But I'm not going to waste my time in needless, endless debate with people who just want to argue. That's a waste of moments in my life. And it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And it's nothing more than an ego game. Well, I'm this kind of Buddhist and my Buddhism is better than yours. I'm going to argue with you and prove it. Well, fine, more power to you. I go with what the Pure Land masters like Shinran said. It's like, oh, well, you're obviously much smarter than me. I'm just an ignorant peasant. And so the best I can do is entrust myself to Amitabha and entrust him to bring me to the pure land of ultimate bliss and peace after this life is over. I remember I went on one Buddhist website way in the past. I forget what the name of the place was, the website. But it was in the early years of the internet, and the place was chaos. I went on it, and people would just basically slam other schools of Buddhism to promote their own. And these people were oblivious to the fact that all they were doing was an exercise in ego management. I've got nothing to prove. I have a warm, deep, abiding sense of belonging since having entrusted myself and my karmic destiny to Amitabha Buddha. Once I received the one thought moment of shinjin, it was like something clicked. It was like I had found the blank piece in the puzzle where I fit, if that makes any sense. For years, for decades, I would go to churches, Catholic and Protestant, Pentecostal and mainstream. I would go to Unitarian Universalist churches, Unity Church of Christianity, the Big Pyramid, Golden Pyramid here in Houston. I would perform Wicca ceremonies in private. I would, perform black magic spells to control my life situation and to punish people who offended me in daily life. And in all of these cases, whatever stage of life I was in, whether it was doing New Age positive affirmations before a mirror, or trying to gain power by wearing a certain crystal around my neck, I never felt like I had found my power. I never found what I was really looking for. Once I received shinjin, I just knew. I knew I was never going to seek anything else. There was no need. There was no need to advance further on the spiritual journey because I had found what I was seeking. Now, that's not to say I don't seek to grow spiritually. Now that I've received shinjin, I read the writings of Master Rinyo, Master Shinran. I seek all things Pure Land to a point. Mainly, I focus on whatever reinforces my Jodo Shinshu faith. And when I say I seek all things Pure Land, I don't mean I dabble in all schools of Pure Land Buddhism. I'm saying that what I do is I reinforce the faith that I have now. Now, that faith comes from Amitabha Buddha, but by listening deeply to the Dharma, by studying the Dharma, and believe me, there's a lot of study I need to do. There's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things I get wrong. There's a lot of things I word wrong when I'm trying to convey the Dharma from time to time. But like I said, that's okay. I've learned how to edit my videos now, so I won't be deleting anymore. But through Bamboo Bungling, I come to the realization that my power as an unenlightened being is very, very, very limited. And so I choose to entrust in the merits of Amitabha Buddha. I choose to entrust in the grace and the love and the protection of Amitabha Buddha. Now, does this mean nothing is going to happen to me because I say Nembutsu? No. But I find that the Nembutsu gives me the strength to focus on Amitabha Buddha instead of getting caught up in my own problems. And, stuff arises at different moments of every day. Thoughts in our mind, rude people, There are just some people that are just jerks, and that's who they are, and that's not going to change. And there's no magic spell I can cast and no Buddhist chant I can say to make these people change. But I can entrust my feelings about these people. I can't necessarily take away the resentment or the hate, but I can entrust where I'm at to Amitabha Buddha and say, okay, Lord, I entrust my life to you. And this means every aspect of my life. Now, does this mean I don't make mistakes? I don't, break with the precepts? No, I mean, I do. Not as often as I used to. But what it does mean is that less and less I tend to rely on my own self-power to solve and control everyone and everything, including myself, in my life. My life has become less of being a control freak and more of a person of entrusting faith. I trust Amita because I know Amita is real and I know the Pure Land is real. There is that knowing that goes beyond your doubts and your fears. It's not that I have reached some great point where I no longer doubt the reality of Amitabha, or I no longer doubt the Pure Land. It doesn't work like that. What happens is, through the one thought moment of Shinjin, Amita has revealed himself to me. It's like if I walk up to you and you say, hey, I'm Joe Smith, and I shake your hand, I'm like, oh, this is Joe Smith. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind from that moment that Joe Smith is real. It's the same with the one thought moment of Shinjin. Once I had that realization, that connection with Amitabha Buddha through simple faith, I realized that Amitabha Buddha was real. His Pure Land was real. It wasn't a matter of me bringing me to a point, and that's what I thought originally when I first joined Paul Roberts' group and wanted to receive Shinjin. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this practice, I'm going to do this Buddhist practice, do that Buddhist practice, and I will purify my karma to the point to where I bring myself to believe that Amitabha is a real Buddha and his Pure Land is a real land. And then I will have Shinjin. That's not Shinjin. That's not other power faith. That's not other power practice. That is self-practice. That is self-merit. That is you trying to bring yourself to enlightenment through your own self-efforts. I tell you, once you let go of that, you will, if you really desire Amita's gift of Shinjin, he will not refuse you this. You will come to that realization. But it requires faith. And that's what I think brought the ripening of my karma to the point where I was willing to receive Shinjin, is that it wasn't that I no longer doubted, it's that I had faith. It's like, if Amitabha Buddha is a real Buddha, and he desires more than anything to bring me to his Pure Land, Amitabha, in his time, in his way, will bring this about. And he did. And this sealed and affirmed my knowledge, my Shinjin, my knowing that I was saved by Amitabha Buddha. my simple faith, my unquestioning, diamond-like knowing faith that this Buddha is real. And to people who worry about whether or not they will receive shinjin, stop worrying. I know that sounds easy. It is. But only if you entrust yourself and your karmic destiny to Amitabha Buddha. Paul Roberts used to have a phrase, let go and let Amita. It is a very simple phrase and a very good one because it helps people to stop trying to bring themselves to shinjin. It helps them to stop trying to enlighten themselves or bring themselves to enlightenment. Because I honestly can tell you, man, that's not going to happen in this life. It's not. I'm sorry. We're living in the Dharma ending age. And, you know, I mean, look around. But what we can do right here and right now is place our hands together and say, Amitabha Buddha, I entrust to you all my doubts, all my fears. I entrust to you my life as it is, where I'm at. I'm tired. I can't bring myself to enlightenment. I've tried. And so I entrust myself to you. I entrust my karmic destiny to you. And I say your name, desiring to be reborn in your pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. And I trust that you in your own time, in your own way, will bring about the ripening of my karma to the point to where I can let go and let you do what you do best. And that is save hopelessly trapped beings like myself. Now that's one version. That's not something that needs to be written down. It's not verbatim something you need to say, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Just be yourself, honestly, with Amitabha. I find there are moments when I find it hard to focus, when I feel overwhelmed. And then I just stop and I say, honestly, what I'm going through. And I talk to Amitabha Buddha and I say, look, I don't know how to resolve these issues in my life. I don't know how to fix this problem in my life. I don't know what else to do. And so I just ask for you to help me, to guide me. And I say the name of the Buddha. Because I turn to Amitabha Buddha constantly throughout the course of the day. Now, not every second of every moment of every day, but throughout the course of the day, off and on, I am always saying Nembutsu in one form or another. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amitofo, Namo Adidafat. I am listening to Amitabha Buddha chants on YouTube. I have several different kinds of Amitabha chants on my phone that I listen to. And I'm always with prayer beads on me. I may not wear them on my arm, but I've got a prayer bead in my pocket. Usually I do wear them. The Nembutsu is not far away from my lips, certainly not far from my mind or my heart, because that is my connection to Amitabha Buddha. That is how he connects to me, because the Nembutsu doesn't come from myself. It comes from Amitabha Buddha. And through his grace and love, that desire is placed in my heart to connect with him through the saying of his name. And then I am grateful and I say his name. When I am afraid, I say his name. When I am confused, I say his name. When I am irritated, I say his name, or think his name, or whisper his name. Depending on my circumstance or situation, I seek to place my focus on Amitabha Buddha more and less on myself. And I urge you to do the same. Namo Amida Butsu.